welcome back. This is another Where Games Banished video, and today we're going to look at the Adam and Eve mod, the very first mod that's ever come out for Banished. So if you're playing you have to have at least the 1.0.4 version, the beta version, in order to play the mods. You'll have a menu item called mods, and then once you've loaded the file, which you can sort out how to do online, the Reddit forums have a lot of information about where to grab those files from, or I'm sure if you just Google them by this point they'll be there. Just make sure you have that mod enabled, and then what you'll see when you go to create a new game is your starting conditions. You'll have a choice between easy, medium, hard, and Adam and Eve. So we're going to try the hardest of the hard right now, which is going to be mountain terrain, a small map, and a harsh winter. The small map's not going to make a difference for a very long time because we're not going to be using a lot of the map. We're going to be sticking pretty close to home. So the first thing you're going to notice, of course, is that you've got exactly 2 people. And so this is going to create a fairly long stretch of time before we have more people coming in. So we've got Patrina and we've got Lawrence. Let's have a look at our map. This is nice. We're pretty close to the river. We've got a little bit of space that we can grow into. Not a huge amount of space, but it should be enough to get started. So the first thing that we're going to make sure we have is some food coming in. I'm going to put a gatherer's hut in. I'm going to put it fairly close to where we are, but it's got to be far enough in that it's got a decent amount of forest around it. And then the second thing we're going to build is a house. I'm going to put it right over here, kind of split the difference. And of course we're going to need a storage yard. Stockpile, sorry. Okay, so we're just about ready to kick these guys off, so let's do this. First thing we need to do is get that yard going, because otherwise we're going to have nowhere to get our materials that we're building. So I'm just going to grab my stuff here, my event log, my info. I'm going to make one of these to a builder, leave the other one as a laborer for now. So we've got our yard in, and then we're going to tell them first thing, we need this thing built. We need it built fast. And we of course don't have enough materials, so that's going to be part of our early phase here, is doing some gathering. We're not going to need the iron right off the hop. We're going to need the trees, and we're going to need the logs. Trees and the logs, sorry, and the stone. So the first big difference I found with this mod, of course, other than the fact that you're dealing with a very limited amount of people and you're in a race against time to get everything built, is that you pay way more attention to the housing and who is inhabiting the housing. Once you've got a few families up and running, you really need to make sure that you're growing constantly in the early phases. And it was a long time before I had a good idea of whether I was going to make it or not. I haven't actually tried the hard, small, harsh map yet, so you're trying it along with me right now. So our gatherer's hut is just about done. And that's good, because we're going to need the food. Always so worried about food in this game. Gotta worry about food. Great, so we've got one gather up, and now we need a house before winter comes and everybody freezes. So in order to do that, we're going to need, again, some more resources. What I found the first time I tried this was you're just constantly battling with resources. Got to get more, got to get more, got to get more. Got to get to the point where you can put a forester in, but then there's no one to work it. And so, yeah, it's a pretty fine balancing act. I found it to be a good mod, a very tough mod early on. Of course, once you're up and running, you don't notice the differences. Once you're up to, say, 30 or 40 people, it's going to be exactly the same as when you start on any other kind of map. But it's that early going that does make the difference. So we're just waiting to have enough stone here. We need 2 more stone units before we can build. Make sure these guys are doing that. How's our food? See, we got 385 food units, so we're actually good food-wise for at least a year, probably 2 years at this point. And mostly what we need right now is the rest of that stone to get this building built, and there it is. So we've got enough now, so we're going to put a high priority on this. We have 3 iron tools, that's going to become a problem for us pretty quickly. And firewood is going to become a problem for us fairly soon as well. Same as the normal game, it's just a little accelerated because we don't have 20 tools, for instance. So there we go. We've got our house up and running. And of course it's already telling me that we don't have enough firewood. So we're going to put in our woodcutter. Probably should have put that a little closer to the yard, but that's okay. And put a little tiny road in here. So that's 24 logs and 8 stone. We've got almost that much, but not quite. Once again, it's all the resource gathering. So what I might even do at this point is take our gatherer off gathering and have her help out. I'm assuming it was the her and not the him. We also need these people to start procreating fast. So now winter is hit. They do have enough firewood to... I got 13 units of firewood, so hopefully that's enough to get us through the winter, or at least until the woodcutter is built. We shall find out. If one of them freezes to death, our game is over. Because we won't, of course, be able to have more babies, unless maybe it was the male that died and the female had a baby already on the way. We're not really here to talk about genetic issues, though there theoretically would be a lot of them later in the game. There we go. We have our first child. Casilo. Okay, so 460 food units. Food's okay for now. We definitely don't want to get behind on food. That's always very dangerous. And our woodcutter is just about ready. We're going to make one of our 2 people a woodcutter for a short period of time, just to make sure that we've got enough firewood. And I'm always watching that number of tools, and it's pretty low. So we're going to put the blacksmith in next. That's another 55 units of stone. Crazy amounts of stone. So yeah, this early phase is all just resource. And it's tricky because we don't have a lot of people to grab them. So we're just gonna do our best. That's all we can do. And then we'll worry about a storage barn after. We gotta get these immediate things taken care of. Not having a blacksmith could really slow us down. We're down to 1 tool as it is, so we may not actually get there before we run out of tools, but such is life. We made it through the winter. Yay! So early spring now. Our child is 1. Mom and Dad are still fairly young. We're hoping they'll have a few more kids here. If they just have the 1, we're kind of in trouble. And we want them to have them fairly close together, because if we have a big age gap, then that's going to cause us issues because they won't form another household until they're old enough to do so. So let us hope for the best. This video might be a little longer than the normal ones that we do, and I apologize for that, but it's just tricky because it is a fairly long build up to the beginning of the game. There's not much we can do about that. I guess we could do like time lapse or that kind of thing for you, but right now we're just going to play. And we're at 346 food units. 346. That's okay. Again, this early phase is all about watching everything. Do I have enough of everything? Do I have enough food coming in? Do I have enough tools? Do I have enough this? Do I have enough that? So we do have quite a bit of wood, and I'm actually going to say don't cut anymore, because now what we really want is enough to finish our blacksmith. And if you're taking all of our logs, etc., we're not going to be able to do it. So let's get this done, guys. So really we're kind of on the verge of stable here. We're not in great shape yet, but I'm not worried that anybody's going to die off in a big hurry here. I mean, of course, things could happen, but We do have enough food. We have the ability to create tools soon. We have our firewood if we need it. We've got lots of firewood stored up. I probably should have kiboshed that a little earlier. We now have enough enough logs to build our blacksmith. We're going to need more stone to build our blacksmith. So that becomes the priority. Food's getting low now. So one of our builders is going to become the gatherer for the time being. Actually, we can make the other one the builder. So one gatherer, one builder is where we're at right now. And of course, we didn't start with any animals. We didn't start with any seeds. So we are, until we get a trading post up, we can't do any farming or anything. So it's really just about the gathering hut. And we could put in a hunter's lodge. But again, only one person can work it, or 2 people at the most. So our child is now 3. We are just trying to make sure we've got enough stone and enough iron. We've got plenty of iron. Just need some more stone before we can finish building our blacksmith. The resource thing is a big issue for you early on because you don't have a lot of people to go and get the resources. And of course, we need to be ready to build another house by the time our kids get around that 10-year-old mark so that they're a second family starting up. At this point, we don't have that yet. So, our first child is 4. Really hoping there's a second child on the way, guys. Come on. Got them working too hard. They don't have time to stop and have kids. We almost have enough stone now. Apologies, this is the dull waiting for stone portion of the show. I think Fox is starting a new show called Waiting for Stone. Or they probably will by the time this podcast is done. Take my idea. Thieves. Okay, so our child is now 4, and this is what we're going to be doing a lot of is just come on, have kids, come on, have kids. Hurry up, have kids. So yeah, basically now we need to have another kid. We really hope it's a boy. And then we need for both of those kids to get old enough so that they can have kids. It's pretty exciting. And if we're really lucky, then our Adam and Eve will have another kid at the same time as the 2 kids have another kid. And then those kids can have a kid. You can learn all about genetics at the same time. Okay, so we have enough stone now, so we can prioritize getting this blacksmith done. See, neither of them have an extra tool, but it doesn't say we're out of tools yet. We will be pretty quickly. Our food numbers are good again. We're back up to 450. So again, and we've got enough firewood to make it through the winter. This is our second winter. Our child is now 5. I believe it's 2 years that the people age for every calendar year. So every 2 seasons they gain a year, which is a little weird, but otherwise you'd be playing forever before anything changed or before you got new people. That kind of thing. So if you guys wouldn't mind bringing the iron over here, that would be lovely. Here we go, 9 iron. Need more iron. I mean, really, we could take one of our gatherers and make them both builders for the time being. Just really tired of this blacksmith not being done. So get on it. Guess I could also cancel. They keep going over here and trying to remove all this other stuff, and really I just want that done. So we're almost there now. We need 5 more iron units. Just carry them one at a time, guys. That's cool. There you go. So now we only need 1. And he'll finish building. Or she'll, actually it looks like her. She'll finish building. Child is now 6. We have been unlucky enough to not have a second kid yet. And you can see she now needs a tool, which is going to mean that this takes a lot longer to finish building. So maybe we will make the other guy a builder too, just for a few seconds. Food-wise, we have 651 units. We've only got 3 people. That's around 2 years of food each. I believe it's 120, I think someone decided, per year, per person. Once this is done, we won't need to keep all of these buildings employed. We won't be able to, of course, but we won't be able to, or we won't keep all of these guys going at the same time. It's really just this whole juggling act. So 1 blacksmith, we don't need a builder at the moment, so 1 gatherer, 1 blacksmith. The next building I'd want to throw in is a storage barn. It's not an urgent building to have, but then we can get them away from the cart. The cart seems to be doing fine for the time being. It's 60% full. And yay, we now have 6 tools. The cool thing with the smaller population is that, of course, once we have, say, 20 tools, those will last a very long time. So that's a good thing for us. You can see we have 4 tools right now, and there's little Miss Blacksmith. So we got 10 tools, so really if we wanted, we could probably stop her right now. I don't mind for the time being to continue doing that. And now it's just the waiting game. Our child is now 8. We don't have a second child yet. This is a little disconcerting, a little annoying. We could start queuing up our second house. There might not be a need for it. We might not have enough kids to make it here. 16 tools is plenty, so we're going to tell the blacksmith, don't worry about that anymore. We've got enough firewood, so we'll make our second person the builder for the time being. And we have enough log and enough stone on hand to finish both of those. So that'll make things go a little faster for us. We probably don't need this until the oldest child is at least 10, but that's okay. These deer are just taunting us by being so close to our house. I just really want to make a hunting lodge and go after them. But really, our gathering hut is more than getting the job done. Like we're hovering around 600 units for the 3 of us. That's plenty of us, because I'm in there too. Yeah, this is a little worrying. I think the first time I played through, I had at least 2, maybe 3 kids by this point. We've got the 1, so this could be problematic. If our female gets too old to have kids, then without having a second kid, and our younger girl doesn't have one either, we could be in trouble. Guess the other idea is maybe to build a town hall right away and hope that we can get some nomads in. That seems like kind of a cheat, like you're getting around the idea of the mod, so we won't do that. But that might work. I'm not sure when the nomads are triggered, whether you have to wait until your population is bigger before they start coming or what, but someone out there probably knows and will tell me in the comments. You guys like to do that, I know. And that's cool. I love it too. I love it when people comment on stuff. I know every video you watch, they say, oh, please comment on my video. But when you're making these things, it's really hard to know whether people are enjoying them or what they're liking and what they're not liking, unless you comment. So please, even if it's just to say, I think you're terrible at this game and you should stop, that's fine. It's not great feedback, but it's feedback. Okay, so now we have 2 houses. And we've got 3 workers. We could be done our game soon. We need another kid. So hopefully that will happen. If it doesn't, then we will end. It will not be our fault. We kept all the people alive that we possibly could. And yet it still wasn't enough. See, we could look at doing the town hall route, but even then we're just hoping that we're going to get enough people in, and we need 124 stone and 48 iron. That's a long way to go. We have to collect pretty much all of the stone from everywhere around. We have a child, yay! So now here's our issue. We have a second child, and it is a boy. But now we need to wait until he's 10 before he can have a child. I believe. I could be wrong. And we'll see if I'm wrong. But now we have to wait till that child is 10. By that time, his older sister is going to be 22 or 21. And then they need to have a child. And hopefully 2 children and 3 children. And if we're really lucky, maybe mom and dad will have another child as well. That would be awesome. We're just not going to get into family trees right now because they're more of a bush at this point, I really think. So yeah, we're just going to keep collecting stuff and building up. We don't really need for a lot at the moment. I mean, we could do coats and things like that. Coats aren't going to make or break us. We've got enough food coming in for the time being. We've got a decent amount of resources. We've got enough firewood. We've got enough tools. So these 4 people can exist quite happily for a little while. And this is where the slowdown, of course, happens because we need more people to do more things. We're not going to have them for a while. We've got our 2 houses. I found that I had the houses up a lot more in the screen than I would in a normal game, just keeping an eye on where people are and which houses they live in, that kind of thing. When I was playing the regular versions, there's so many people you don't really pay too much attention to it. So we're getting to the point where our storage cart is full, so we are going to need a storage barn soon. I'm going to put it right here. And that's going to take a bunch of logs and some of our stone. And our younger boy is now 2. His older sister is 12. 10-year difference between those 2. That's a bit unfortunate. That might be our downfall. The one thing that I noticed about the mod is that you spend a lot more time worrying about whether you're going to make it or not, which is good. That's kind of exciting. That's a very cool thing about the mod. The fact that it takes longer isn't the mod's fault. It's just the natural consequence of not having as many people playing. And it really is an interesting challenge. Once you played enough Banished, you can pretty much start on any map, on any difficulty level, and get going and get things up and running. So this is kind of fun because it adds a bit of a question mark into things. Can you make it? Will you be able to make it? And our storage barn's up. I'm going to get rid of our storage cart. Move the stuff back over to the other. And of course everything's low or out right now because it doesn't show up in the inventory until it's back into something. So here we go. Alright, so our girl is 13 and our boy is 3. Like I said, we're going to be waiting a little while until he's old enough for them to have a kid. I don't know if the deal is that they won't have another kid or whether they will. I think the wife is 37. It's getting a little old for having kids. Still possible, but I don't know. Maybe someone out there knows what age the women stop having kids in Banished, whether there is a preset number. I suspect there is. I just don't know what it is. But if you do, you could tell me. And then I'll be all like, thank you for telling me. And you'll be like, honest man, it was nothing. So we've got our little society up and running here. It's looking good. We got a lot more. We got more buildings than we have people at this point, which is kind of exciting. Food-wise, we've got 1,000 food units, so we've got more than enough food for 2 years for everybody. I'm just going to leave one of them as a gatherer because at some point we're going to start eating more than we're bringing in, and I don't want to have to worry about it just yet. I got to keep an eye on our firewood. We're down to 68. There's 2 houses now. 14 and 4 the kids are at. I guess at this point we could put in a hunting lodge, which would give us some leather, which we can then turn into coats. I'm not a big coat guy. They're great, but they don't hurt or help me that much. We can put our hunting cabin in. Should have probably put it a little further this way because there's this giant herd of deer over here, but I'm to understand that the game doesn't really care one way or the other about that. That it doesn't really matter whether you can see the deer or not. They still catch them. So we're going to need a forester pretty soon because we're starting to run out of trees in our general vicinity. So we're going to go and get some trees from over here. We need a few more. We've got enough stone already, but our stone resource, everything is running low. Pretty much everything is low. We are almost out of things. So yeah, if these two only end up having one kid, it could be a very slow start to the game. The other, like I said, the other game I managed to have a second set of people pretty early on. Someone's probably screaming, build another house. I don't think building another house is going to make a difference. And maybe that's what you're screaming at me, but we'll build one anyway because we will eventually need one. Now you're building. Why did you build that house? Well, you're screaming that at me. Why are you building the house? My answer is because I wanted to. So we can create a hunter. I have no laborers at this point. Not a lot in the way of wood. So we need almost all of our remaining stone and a little bit more log in order to build that extra house, which we really don't need yet. I'm just trying to remove any excuse this game has to trying to screw me over again. 16 and 6. 16 and 6. And I'm pretty sure that Adam and Eve aren't having any more kids. Damn it. So we're going to need a few more logs. I think we've got them now. We've got enough stone. The nice thing is by the time you get to 20 or 30 people, you're feeling like king of the world. You got way more than enough stuff. We're going to be just fine. The next thing we could probably put in is a forester just to start bringing some of that tree back. We're going to run out of stone at some point. There's a bit over on this side. Decent amount over there. There's a little bit up this way. But really now it's going to be a race to get forester up, build some firewood, and then build in trading posts that we can actually start trading and bringing in some of those materials that we're going to need. I don't think we have enough people to do a quarry anytime soon. Things are moving pretty slow here. So we played about 25 minutes or so. And we're at 4 whole people. And everything is just low. That's what the game keeps telling me. Everything is low. Stone is low. Wood is low. Food is no longer low. Food, we're laughing. 1,400 units. So we're almost at 2 years worth of food for everybody if we stop producing any more right now. Right now. We can keep an eye on our storage barn too. It's almost half full now. I guess we could have left the cart up and running and that would have given us a bit more, but I think by the time we have enough stuff to warrant a second one, we will have enough materials to deal with that. So, let us put in a forester's lodge. I'm going to put them right there. And knowing that the forester's lodge is going in makes you a little more comfortable with grabbing resources. Or it does for me. Maybe not for you. If you're not comfortable, then I say don't. Don't do it. So now we've got an empty house, of course. Like I said, it was a little bit early to build that third house, but maybe if we forget later, it will save our bacon somehow. Look at all those deer standing around. They outnumber us. We can't kill them all. We do have a little bit of leather. We haven't worried too much about coats because we're not sending people very far away to do the building and such. If we were doing that, I'd be a little more worried about making sure that they're not freezing during the winter. I am not worried about that right now. And our Forester's Lodge is slowly being built. Put a little dirt road in there so they can find their way in. Keeping an eye on our firewood. It's starting to get a little bit low now. Our tools are fine. I'm going to take our builder off and turn our builder into a woodcutter for just a minute or two. So this will just keep clearing itself, or they will clear it when they have nothing better to do. 19 and 9, so hopefully in 1 year our child will move out. Watch, with my luck, he will move into a different house, that empty house that we just added, and then we're in trouble. Maybe we'll get really lucky and Adam and Eve will have one more child for us. I don't know if that's been programmed in or anything, or if it's just luck of the draw. So, moving along, moving along, moving along. Get our little Forester's Lodge done if we can here. And our wood cutter is working away slowly. Yay! There you go. So now our boy is 10. He's moved in with his 20-year-old sister. And hopefully they start having babies. I can't even believe I just said that. But that's what we need here in the world of Banished. It's really unfortunate if we don't get another baby out of these two, and I don't think we're going to. So it's essentially just set us back an entire generation. And then we'll be relying on these two to have lots of kids, because we need someone to have one more kid. 3 or 4 kids would be lovely. That's what I need. And the sooner they can do it, the better. Don't wait, guys. Have them babies early. Don't wait. And we were temporarily short on logs for the Forester's Lodge, and now we have it, and we're going to be short on stone. We can send the boys into, and the girls in to grab that stone. Yay, we have our first child in that house. Evangelar. Evie. Let's just call her Eve. Oh, it's Eve, guys. A couple generations late, but... So that would be the grandchild of these people. And, yes, so the children had a baby, so they are both mom and aunt and dad and uncle. It's very exciting. This deer is not going to let us finish building the Forester's Lodge. He has claimed it. But we will make him move. Okay, I'm going to take the woodcutter off. It's got 200 wood already. So we've got 2 people now, so we could actually double the amount of gathering that we're doing. And we do need a builder. And that'll be great, because then one of those 2 people can become our forester. And then we slowly start gathering more resources. Oh, look at that. It looks like Dad and the child have moved into their own home. And our 22-year-old gatherer has her own home now. Will they have another child? Who knows? I don't. Guess we could always force them to live together if we wanted to. Be interesting if someone knows the logic behind how the housing works. And we can now have a forester. Hooray! I don't think we need 2 gatherers at the moment. It's odd to say that we don't need more food, but... And we're just going to plant and not cut for the time being. So, here's the question. Do we force these guys to live together? Or do we just assume that they're going to have a baby anyway, even though they're not in the same house? Tough to say. We could always do the old evict and see what happens. Let's try that. So we could say, I'm going to slow it down first. We could say remove this house, which will immediately force her to move out. And it actually, oh sorry, it moved them out and they became homeless. So if they choose to move back in here, then we'll have our answer right away. Ah, see, they moved back in together. So for some reason the game had them move out and now they moved back in together. Hopefully to have more babies. Don't you think, guys? Wouldn't that be the best plan? Have more babies. You know you want to. So, at this point we're just going to gather. Because now I'm thinking trading post is probably our next key. Because we have a forester who will plant more trees. We have one firewood cutter. We can have a second firewood cutter if we need. It's only going to take one person to do that. And then maybe we get lucky and we start bringing in some wheat or something like that. Or a bucket full of people. That's really what we need, is a bucket full of people. So it's the waiting game. Will they have another child? Will they not have another child? The first child is now 3. So yes, early in the game, lots of waiting to see what's going to happen housing-wise with the children. If they keep just having one child each, or 2 children each, but 10 years apart, it's going to be a very, very long curve. It's already a very long curve at this point. We've been playing on the verge of 40 minutes, and we've only got 5 people. 5 people. And so yeah, we're just going to clear this area out here, try to get some more resources in. There's a bunch of stuff over here too. Really just trying to build up enough till we've got enough ready for a trading post, which is going to cost 82 log we pretty much have. We need 80 stone. We need 40 iron, which we already have. So really it's mostly stone at this point that we need to collect. So we could tell these guys, just grab all the stone. I think we told them stone already. We could cancel their other removal tasks. Their non-stone related tasks. I mean, really, we could just cancel all of those and then just highlight stone again. It's probably the correct way to do it. Wait, guys, there's another child. Exciting. Cathin the child is now born. So we have 2 more children, guaranteeing us 1 more generation at least. That's pretty exciting, I think. So really what we need is those 2 to be old enough to move into their own house and have another kid at the same time their parents also have another kid. Mom's going to be 36 by the time that happens, so we might be out of luck. These 2 are a little closer together in age than their mom and dad were, who were 10 years apart. So maybe our worst case scenario here is it just takes another generation to get things moving. Now, we're in danger of losing mom and dad at some point here too, because they're not getting any younger by Banished standards. So now we just collect stone till the point where we've got 80. And then we can build a trading post. Start bringing some of that other stuff in. Children are now 5 and 1. Mom and dad are now 27 and 16. I think that's kind of the key, is having 2 sets of parents that have kids at the same time, because that's going to make your time till next generation much shorter. I think we might have just got a bum deal here because Mom and Dad only had the 2 kids. They didn't have a 3rd kid, which might have sped things up for us. But we will play the hand we are dealt, as they say in the army. They don't say that in the army at all. No one says that. Alright, so trading post. I'm going to put it here anyway. We don't have enough stone to build it yet, but I'm going to put it in anyway because I don't care. And our storage bin barn, is 54% full. We're in no great danger of overfilling it just yet. Could even take everybody else off their jobs and make everybody work on the gathering. Come on, guys, take those stones out already, would you? So they're going to bring that stone back. We were sitting at 45. That was a whole 3 more for that one. There we go. Now we're rocking. And you can see that these guys have split once again into 2 different households. It's interesting that it just seems to happen after a while, maybe when a child hits a certain age, or I don't really know what the logic behind that is. I'm not a Banished expert. I'm just a guy who really likes playing it, and I play it a lot. But I haven't mastered every concept of it or anything. We're going to build another house. Just always have that 1 extra house open just in case. I don't want anything slowing the progression of families down. We could have tried using a boarding house as well. That might have been a way to go. So we're only at 3 families at this point. But this way we can sort of see how the game stretches families out and stuff like that. And so that's kind of fun to do as well, I think. So we will actually put this priority on this house, I think, for the time being. So just a bit more stone. There you go. And don't let me forget to do things like provide more firewood and get people back gathering food before we all starve. Now it's winter. We have no coats. We don't believe in coats. Hopefully no one tries to freeze while they're picking things up. So you can see here we have just about enough log. We don't have quite enough stone, but we're in the ballpark, and iron we're way good, and we've always have been good on it. So we're almost ready to build our trading post, and then we're going to need more wood. We have another child, you guys. We have another child. His name is Hold. So we have a 0, a 4, and an 8-year-old child. 1 more child would be great. Can we have 1 more child from that generation? Then you'll have doubled us. And we will cheer in the streets for you all. So, yes, we are going to continue to collect, gather, build like we like to. And where's our 4th house? Oh, and there you go. And Dad moved into... Oh, look at that. We've got a 5-year-old living by herself. She got her own house. That's kind of funny. A little weird. And this girl here has just about hit adult age. Mom and Dad, sorry, Eve and Adam are now 55 and 50. And we're almost have enough stone. And log-wise, we're a little short again because we've been cutting for wood. Kind of need to do that, though. It's important. Need to cut all these trees down. Trying not to do too many in our forested area here. And we especially don't need those little shrubs coming down just yet. We do want the bigger trees, but not the shrubs. We've only got one forester working there, of course, and so it's taking a little bit longer. There, now Evangelar is old enough to become a laborer. So let's see what happens when we remove that house and then reclaim that house. There, now our older child moved into it, which is, I think, more what we wanted. I didn't like the idea of that 6-year-old living by herself. God knows, she's probably just having cereal all the time, not eating anything healthy. You know, kids. What are you gonna do? We almost have enough log again to start on our construction here. Then, folks, game changer. Actually, probably not really, because we're going to need hundreds of units of firewood before we can afford seeds, for instance. And my experience in the last game was it took a little while to get the seeds, although this game, you never know. Could be different. And we have actually no one gathering food, but we still have 1,100 food units. So I'm going to put someone back on gathering food. I think that's a good idea. All right, we have an 11-year-old. Or can we have one more kid? Or is Mom too old now? Come on, one more kid. You can do it. Although if once Kath in here turns 10... if those two have a baby, and then this baby's not that much younger, we have our 2-generation thing going. You can see what I mean about the 2 generations, that it's a little, that's really what you need. And then you have more kids having more kids, and then that's what we want, because we need bigger families. And we need that growth to start before people start dying from old age. We've done nothing in the way of keeping these people healthy. We don't have an herbalist yet. We should probably build one of those. We have no hospital. If we were to be hit by a disease, we'd be finished. Life's pretty close to the edge here, you guys. So we're going to also get an herbalist going, but I'm going to wait until this is done so that we're not interfering. And it only needs iron left over there, so we'll do that. Put our herbalist in there. You can see that we've used almost all the logs we have. This is going to be a constant problem for us, making sure we've got enough of everything and enough people to do everything for us. But not bad. We were able to get to a trading post inside of an hour and with only 7 people in the village. That's pretty good, I think. It would have gone much quicker had we gotten that generational thing that we were talking about before happening. But hey, you can't cry over spilt milk. It's not going to help you. So, of course, once we have our trading post, we're going to need things to trade in it, which is where that whole having the forester and a bunch of logs is going to come in handy. We'll probably have to put in another forester over here. So we have 7 people and 1,200 food units. And we can probably just keep one person as a gatherer pretty much exclusively now. Don't see any point in not having more food coming in. The only thing is to try to keep our storage barn from getting overfull, but once we have our trading post, we can store extra food in there if we need to. I don't think we'll need to. So, this is the exciting early phases. 13 and 9, we're just waiting for that child to get 1 year older, move in with his sister, and have some babies. Such a strange mod. Again, I'm tempted to try the whole City Hall thing and see if you could bring in nomads earlier, but like I also said, it does sort of seems to be cheating, escaping the spirit of the thing. The spirit of the thing is to start with nothing and grow. And nomads kind of take the fun out of that. There we go. We have our 10-year-old and our 13-year-old. Maybe we could convince Dad to move out of his house and back in I don't know if that will do anything or not. See, he did. He moved back in with his 36-year-old wife, and maybe they'll have another kid. Come on, have another kid. Do us a favor, man. What do we ever do to you? Okay, so now we have our trading post. There's no one working in it yet, and there's nothing in it yet. We don't really have a ton of extra stuff. We could put some venison in there. Some people will trade things for venison. And I'll even put a trader in there. Trader. And I think the next thing we were working on is our herbalist. The last time I tried this, I think we found about 120 herb units, and that was literally all we put in all game. They never needed it. They never continued to produce more. It was fine. Everybody was pretty happy with that. And we are out of firewood, so we're going to grab one of our people and get some more firewood going. And then we're going to immediately grab almost all of the logs. So let's just harvest just those trees. And our herbalist is starting to run. Hey, we had another child. Hooray. Evangelar. I don't even want to know. Oh, and then the dad moved out. What's up with the dads and moving out in this game? I don't know. Seems odd. So we're going to put our other forester lodge in over here. So let's harvest all these trees. Get a little buildup of trees going again. We'll make somebody an herbalist just for a minute. Actually take our trader off the job for a while. Want everyone to stay nice and healthy. So now we have a 0 and a 7-year-old child, which is great. I was kind of hoping again they'd have one more child and that would bump us up another rung here, but this way at least we'll have 2 more kids. And hopefully the younger people will have another child themselves. Be really helping me out, guys, if you had the child. So we've got a 0 and an 8 in the one family, and we've got a 1-year-old in the other family. One more child. Make it a girl child. Of course, the logging is slow. We don't have that many laborers right now. But not bad. We've got 6 grown-ups, 3, so we're almost at 10 people now. 10 people. Crazy. And the oldest is Eve. She's 63, so we could see her and her husband dropping off in the next 10 to 20 years here. And we've got some herbs. Hooray. So again, once we have a few of those, we'll take someone off the job. Because really it's just about moving those same few people around to try to get all the resource bases covered. Yeah, I really don't know if there's a faster way to do this. I don't think there is, so I apologize for the length of the video. Some of you like long videos, some of you don't. If you're the kind who likes long videos, then this is a good one for you, hey? Congratulations. I hope you're enjoying it. With my dulcet tones and frequent pausing, how could you not? See, I did it again right there, just for you. So yeah, our immediate goal here now is going to be put in another forester and then start growing trees so that we can cut them, make some firewood, and trade that firewood, hopefully for some, maybe for some seeds would be lovely. I notice our food level's starting to go down a little bit. We may be the time that we need to add a second gatherer. Also, we don't have a lot of logs in the area, so that gatherer becomes a little less helpful to us. Yay, Hold is now 10. He's moved into his own house. He's a laborer, so we have one more laborer. Tools are getting low, so we're going to make him a blacksmith for a few minutes. So it's, yeah, like I said, it's a bit of a scramble early on. You're just trying to keep all your bases covered. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it is doable. So now, what are we hoping for? We're hoping that the one family has another kid. Or 2 kids. Have 9 kids, please. That would be fantastic. And we've got 2 kids that will grow up at roughly the same time, which is great. Like I said, I really wanted one more kid in there. That would have been so good. This is really going to come down to luck of the draw, whether we get enough kids to cause a population explosion. An explosion. No X in that word, by the way. But it does feel like we're progressing. We've got a few more people on the job here. We're going to lose a couple people shortly, I think, when old Adam and Eve here are retired in the permanent sense. So we're waiting for our Forester's Lodge to be done. Looking at our housing situation. It's a little tricky, but we've got a few years before we have to worry about anything. If those 2 kids get to the age of 10 and they don't have anywhere to move in together to cause another family, we'll be in trouble. We could just boot this guy out of his house, I guess. But probably we'll just build another house by that point. And we've got our second Forester's Lodge. We're out of firewood once again. See, it all just keeps adding up on you. So I'm going to take the herbalist off the job for a few minutes. Make them cut some firewood. I'm going to log this little area that's just grown in. At some point we'll have hundreds of units coming in, and we'll just be laughing to ourselves. Remember when we had no firewood? I remember that time. It was a crazy time. Alright, 4 and a 5-year-old. Mr. Hold is now 12 years old. He's got no one to have kids with. This is one of the problems that we had. And if I know this game, Adam and Eve will stick around long enough to force us to build another house before we can get to the point where we can make use of their house. Sorry, that sentence kind of dribbled off in the middle of nowhere and just stopped. Lawrence died of old age. There you go. Our first casualty. Adam died first. Just Eve is left now. So if she dies before these guys are old enough... Oh, look, we've got another baby. Hooray! One more baby. That's great. Very pleased to see that. That might be the thing that catapults us forward. Because if we've got our 13-year-old boy, this 6-year-old girl... God. This 6-year-old girl will move in with him. They'll have a baby. And then this 5-year-old boy and this 0-year-old will get together and they'll have a baby. And then their 2 babies will have a baby. And then their 2 babies will have 10 babies. I'm not that lucky, but that could happen. So our other forester is done. We've got no other jobs that need doing right now as far as building goes. We could put another house in. I think we're going to be okay house-wise. I think by the time we need that second house, that Eve will have vacated the house for us. So right now, it's really just about cutting some trees down. Cutting all the trees down. Probably need another forester in there too. But it's just about cutting the trees down and then logging enough of them to make enough firewood to be able to trade for things. You can see here we've moved 160 venison over here, but because no one's working here, I think that's what stops people from coming to visit us. We don't really have the extra workers right now. Now that these trees are growing, I guess I could take this forester off the job. Could put them into don't do anything mode. That's what I needed to do, not that. Oh, okay, there we go. So work is disabled at that location, and hopefully that means we've got the one working over here, so we'll let him plant over there. Have to keep juggling that back and forth. Slow in the go right now. And we've got the log limit set at 200. I don't know why we'd ever want the log limit that low. Oh, and there you go. Our first dude has come. He's got 250 units of walnuts that he wants to share with us. And so we will give him 384 units of venison in trade. But more importantly, we're going to say, come back and bring us food. I'm just going to pick a few different foods because I don't see the point in having a huge variety. We've got most of our basics covered, so really it's just getting some ale in, or sorry, fruit, so we can start making ale, that kind of thing, and do that every visit, and see ya. Oh, once you have the first trading post, you're going to need that second. Sorry about that, folks. A little weirdness in the video. Everything will be okay momentarily, I hope. There we go. Sorry about that. Lost my window for a moment. And we are back. Temporary difficulties. Okay, so where were we? So we've got a little bit of stuff coming in, and we've got our trees, and we brought in some food. Oh, actually, you know what? We were able to trade without the trader there. That's kind of interesting. I suspect it just stops them from bringing new stuff in until such time as we put a trader on the job. And we need a woodcutter more than we need a trader at the moment. Trader. So I keep making that joke because trader sounds like traitor, and it makes me laugh. And so I make that joke. So where are we at here? We have Janelle, who is 8. And we need her to get a little bit older so she can... Oh, no, sorry, that's the male, isn't it? Right. Theral down here is who we're waiting for to become 10. And then Petrina will... Sounds terrible to say it, but we kind of need her to vacate our house. Or we could build another house, I guess. Just want to conserve our wood at this point. Because we are using it faster than we are bringing it in. And we also want to make sure that we're generating enough firewood faster than we're using it. So Theral has now moved in with hold. Withhold. It's funny. So yeah, now again, we've got 2 kids and 7 adults. Hoping that we have a couple more kids on the way fast. There you go. That's fantastic. We've got another kid, and it was within this family here, the 25 and 21-year-old, and they just had another kid, and so now we need Hold and Theral to have a kid as well. That would be lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm going to build one more house so that when our 10-year-old becomes 10, that she can move into that house. Sorry, when our 9-year-old becomes 10, and it's a he. I'm going to shut up now. So yeah, we're able to move a little more quickly now because we do have a few more workers, which is great. Can't seem to get far enough ahead on our firewood at this point, though. Our food's looking good. We're at 1,900 units for 10 people. Our firewood fuel has just hit its limit. We're going to bump that limit up at the risk of using all of our trees. We're going to take the blacksmith off the job because they've made 50 tools. That's going to last us a really long time. And we're going to start moving our first firewood over to the trading post. So if it's 2,500 for seeds and the firewood is 4, we need just over 600, so 640 or 660 units, somewhere in there. Someone's laughing at my math right now. And that would be enough for us to buy seeds for the first time. If it's seeds we've actually requested, there'll be even more. So at this point, we're not going to request anything and just hope that they bring us something good and not just orchard stuff, which we don't need right now. I'm going to put the second forester on the job. There we go. So now we've got our 2 foresters. Janelle just became an adult as well. We're trying to get our house ready. We've got no builders. That's the problem. So still a juggling act. Still lots of stuff to keep afloat. See, we've still got 82 herbs. We took the herbalist off the job when there was 82. There's still 82. So I'm not convinced that we need a lot of herbalists in there for a long period of time. Tools are good. This house is almost done. It's now done. A lot more house windows open than the Adam and Eve version than in the regular version, because like I said, you're keeping an eye on this. Another child. There we go. Perfect. So now we're going to experience a little bit of growth here, which is fantastic. So we're logging and planting. We've got some venison coming in again. I'm going to steal a bit more of that, but not all of it, because it's our only protein-ish source. I guess mushrooms. Sorry about that again, folks. I think that's accidentally trying to start up my screen capture, and it can't do it, and then it defaults back to that. So, or you could just say, "Dude, you're an idiot," and I would accept that. I would take that, but only once, and only today. And we're going to put a trader on the job so that we can get our firewood over there. So yeah, I think things are going very well for us so far. We have our 12-year-old has moved out into his own home, and he is waiting for his young child bride. Oh, and our Eve has finally passed away, and it looks like Dad and young boy child have moved into that house, which is okay. That should be all right for us for now. And we've moved a bunch of our firewood over here. So the goal now is to keep adding more firewood to our trading post, but not shorting our people at the same time. Could build a bridge and come and take all these trees, I guess. Seems like a bit of a waste of stone at this point, though, and there's lots of trees on this side. We can still take, like, all these trees. So at this point, it's pretty much a waiting game. We're just waiting for families to start developing quickly so that we can have lots and lots and lots of kids and lots and lots and lots of houses, and then we'll have more people to do more jobs. Really, once I get one trading post, I always want 3 more trading posts or 2 more trading posts right away so that we can have our pick of what's coming in. It seems a little crazy to try to do that right at the moment, though, because we don't really have the ability to provide resources for them at this point. So now we're doing for firewood. We've got 99 units of firewood on the wall. And 64% storage, so we seem to be doing alright so far. We're now up to 10 whole people, you guys. 10 whole people. Only one of our foresters is working at the moment. And there you go. Now we've got Principessa. No, Princeska. Princeska. That's fun to say. That was an elf joke, by the way. My favorite line from Elf. So, that's good. They have moved in together, so hopefully we'll get another baby there. We've got a 3-year-old here. We've got a 5-year-old here. They can start another family. We need a couple more kids. That would be lovely. Keep saying that. Have more kids. And, oh, apple seeds. Apple are not what we want seed-wise right now. So we could tell them that we want certain kinds of seeds. Those seeds will be more expensive the next time they come. But maybe they'll also bring us other seeds, and that would be good. And so we are going to dismiss these people. Could bring in apples, but then we're basically creating an orchard that's going to take 3 years before it grows anything. By that point, we could certainly have bought as many apples as we need when the other merchants come along and turn them into beer or cider by that point. So that's what we're going to do. Just doesn't seem worth the effort for me this early on with very few people to spare. Our gatherers are getting the job done, though, I gotta say. 2,300 food units, and our hunter, of course. So they are getting the job done. If we start feeling like we've got too much food in there, we can always throw some over into the storage barn. We also have berries, so we could create ale at any point here if we wanted to. Yay, another baby in Evangelar's house. A 0-year-old. That we weren't expecting, so that's kind of cool. Maybe if a couple of our other families could have babies right now too, we would very much appreciate that. So I'm going to take one gatherer off the job right now just to have an extra laborer, because I'm always concerned about our tree ratio. We don't have a lot of trees in stock. And I'm going to throw some more firewood into our... I'm going to bump this up to 420. That's a pot joke. I'm not a pot guy, but that's they like that number a lot. Yeah, okay. Hopefully we're keeping you entertained while we slowly crawl. There's another baby. There we go. So now we've got these 2 babies that can have more babies, and those 2. This is moving in the right direction, guys. Everything's coming up. Millhouse. I'm not even referencing that one. You should know that one. If you don't, shame on you. Shame. So yeah, pretty fun. The big difference here, again, just that long progression. It's going to take us a long time to get up to the point where kids are constantly being born and such. So that's the one thing that the Adam and Eve mod does for you, is it slows your progression down. And there was a lot of points where we just weren't sure whether we were going to make it or not, and that kind of makes the early game a bit more exciting, I think. So we're going to use some of our precious logs here and build yet one more house, because the last thing I want to do is slow down any possibility of more families forming. Can't have it. Because of the young ages as they started having babies, we're not in danger of losing a lot of people all at once either, which is kind of nice. Another baby, guys. Hooray. Wow. So you can see it's really kind of ramping up for us now. And that's great. We're not going to have, and we'll have another laborer in about a year, I guess. So, we will see what happens here. So we've got a 9-year-old boy. This 13-year-old girl's living by herself. I wonder what's going to happen, whether he's going to move in with her. Because this guy just moved on to the house, so maybe they'll move in together and they'll have a kid. Who knows? These crazy modern families, you just don't know anymore. I don't know. If you know, tell me. Leave a comment. Okay. Cut these trees down. So the longer we wait, of course, the more trees are going to grow back in here. These ones are pretty early in the go. And we need to get to the point where we've got lots and lots and lots and lots of trees. We're still at 2,000 food units, and we've got another adult. He did not move in with the girl. Let's see what happens. Maybe we can force that. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Oh, she moved back in with the other family. Okay, that's all right. And now Buddy's moved in by himself, and he's waiting, I think, until this girl is 10. That's all right. That's good. And we've got another laborer who can help us cut down trees. That is all we do. We just cut down trees all the time. In the hopes that there'll be enough firewood that one day some of you can become farmers. So really our goal is, let's see, 600 would get us 2,400, and we need 2,500. So let's go 660. Is that good enough? Is that right? Someone do the math. 24 and another 240. That should be enough. Ha! I did my own math. Okay. Harvest some trees, harvest some trees, harvest some trees. It doesn't seem to matter how many trees we bring in. We can never stay ahead of the curve here. But this is good. This is very encouraging. We've got more households being formed, more families being formed. I'm kind of sad that we don't have access to the stats, you know, the auto numbers that you get for the town hall, but really not worth the amount of effort and material it's going to take to build the town hall at this point. So Nora should be 10 soon. So right now, what do we have? 2 3-year-olds. We got 1 4-year-old, and we got 1 9-year-old. This is good. This is good. We are growing, people. Lots of firewood being used. And we have a merchant who's brought us some wool. So we're going to tell this merchant, bring us logs, bring us wool, bring us tools, bring us stone. I don't need coal right now. Iron would be okay. And I guess even coats. I don't normally buy coats, but we're not really making any yet, so what the heck, let's buy all of this guy's wool for the time being. We could probably put in a tailor. So we're going to build a tailor. We just don't have any logs to do it with. So, where are we at now? We've got 2 5-year-olds and a 4-year-old. We've got another family that's just formed. Hopefully they're going to be having some kids. We got our second generation of elders, 60 and 50. I'm going to put a second gatherer back on the job. Going to, what else are we going to do here? Going to need a tailor at some point. We need some more stone. So this is where the whole small map's starting to rear its ugly head, is that we're running out of things like stone. There's a bit of stone over here. I think it might be time to build that bridge across here, though we're really not going to get that much bang for a buck over there. Not in any great hurry anyway. So yeah, this map we're really going to be relying on the dudes what bring stone. As you can see here, we don't, even the parts that we haven't settled yet, we don't really have a lot of stone in the map at all. We could build a quarry. It goes against my nature to do that, but we could. In fact, we may have to. If I did that, I'd probably do it over here somewhere. So maybe we'll build that bridge just to see. The thing we want to do is we want to get that bridge built before we use up all the stone that's on this side. So I'm actually going to put this on hold for a minute, just to make sure that we're not going to run out of stone before we... Another baby. Guys, another baby. Another baby. Where was that baby born? Oh, that was our young guys up here. They have a 0-year-old now. So we will have to start building more houses soon, I think. We have, let's see, this girl is 7 and 6, so we've got a couple years before we need another house. But this is what it's about. Grow, grow, grow. Continue to grow. Get me all of the stone in the neighborhood. So yeah, and we also need logs for over there, don't we? Oof, we're just going through logs like crazy people. This is because we're doing the the firewood economy, of course, which is a good economy, but man, does it ever suck up all of the stuff in a big hurry. So we can probably drop, I'm going to drop the fuel limit back to 200 for the time being. We've got enough firewood in our trading post to get that one set of seeds, unless of course it's the higher cost seeds that we have requested, in which case we'll just deal, man. We'll just deal. Alright? So our we have 2 8-year-olds, we got a 7-year-old. Gonna need another house soon. We've got this forester, she's living by herself. I wonder whether she's vacated. There you go. We put her back with her family. Him with his family, I guess. So that when our 10-year-olds are not old enough, when they become 10, they can move into that house. We don't have to build another one for the time. Oh, look at, they did it again. That's okay. Now we're going to wait until one of them is 10. That's what we're going to do. Then we won't be denied. So in the meantime, we're trying to build up enough logs, but of course we need 68 of them for that bridge over there. And we don't have a ton of people that are harvesting, so all of this is taking a long time. And I apologize for that if you're getting bored. I hope you're not getting bored. They say if you're bored, then you're boring. In this case, I think you're bored because you're waiting for me to move along with things here. Okay, so this kid is 10. We're going to try the old set the house to remove and then immediately reclaim it. And there you go. Now the 10-year-olds live in there, which is what we wanted. And hopefully Alyssa, the 9-year-old boy, Alyssa the boy and Cataly the girl will move in together and create another family for us. Oh, and we've lost another old age. That's our original kids of Adam and Eve right there. So the oldest person is now 54. And they're going to start getting a little closer together after that because we started having kids earlier and closer together. So now we've got enough log and enough stone to finish our bridge. And Alyssa has indeed moved into that house. So the next guy, Grease here, Grease, he's the word, whatever he is. I'm telling you, oh, terrible, terrible pun. You should really be complaining by this point, if you're not, about those puns. So we're going to throw in one more house so that that boy can move into that house. And there's another baby. Good job, people, with the having of the kids. You're doing well. Another baby. Oh, goodness. That's 2 in almost no time. We're liking this. And our bridge here is almost done. Gonna build a road. And there's our bridge. And we're going to want to put a storage pile. I'm actually going to put it on this side of the bridge. Probably make more sense to have it over here. But that's what we're going to do. And Grease is now an adult and also the word. I did that joke already, didn't I? Damn it. Sorry. Sorry, guys. That's what I'm saying. So, our wooden house, we could probably have... Got enough people now, we could probably throw in a second gathering hut. One of the problems, of course, every time we cut the trees down, there's less for the gatherers to gather. But I'm inclined to do that. Another baby, yay! So we're going to put in a second gatherer's hut over there. And we're going to add another gatherer. We're still at about 1,600 food units. It's not going up, it's going down just a touch. Not super worried about it, but I want to make sure that we do have enough. So Grease has moved into his own house. And we still have this tailor on hold because we were, like I said, we were short on pretty much everything. So come over here when you guys have a chance. Take it all. Take it all. All of the things. We've got 3 laborers. Could probably move some of those into other jobs. I think we're okay for now. It looks like we're doing all right. The only thing is, like I said, the food is a little bit low. I'd really love for that trading post to bring in a second... a type of seed or something so that we can actually get going with some mass food production. Because at some point, we're going to start having a lot of people here, and we want to be able to feed them all. So our second gatherer's hut is moments from completion. See, here you go. We've got our wheat seeds, but of course, because we requested them, they're far more expensive now. So what we need to do is we need to tell our firewood guys that we need to have more firewood. So let's go bring as much in as you can. So see, if we put in the maximum we've only got 2,600 units. So we need another 485 units. And they're going to start bringing in more for us. I like to do this 999 or 9999, and then it just automatically maxes there. Yay, we've got enough. And I'm going to drop this back down to 660 because I don't want to strain things. Hooray! So now it's already summer. We could at least build the crop for next year, or the field for next year. So I'm going to put in a little 8 by 15 and a second one because there's just enough room for them there. We're going to tell them wheat. And actually, let's see. I think it's way too late in the year for them to start seeding, but we'll see. Maybe they will. Another baby. Oh, goodness. Goodness. Lots of babies. So it took a while to get going, but now it really does feel like we're going, that we've got more. We've got some growth happening. That's something to feel good about, isn't it? Our food situation, 1700. We're pretty stable. We've got 2 gatherers' huts rather than 1 now. Now the trick will be to start staffing them. Getting more gatherers in there. We've got 1 extra laborer. We've got 1 builder. There's really not much to build. It's just this crop right here. Wheat might be a good one to start with too, because not only can we have more food coming in a hurry, we can also use some of it to create ale, which will then allow us to trade for more stuff, etc., etc. I believe in the 3-pronged economy. It starts with firewood and then it turns into wool and ale. Right now we've got only one of those 3 prongs. So we can, once summer rolls around, we can put 1 worker in each of those fields and we can start growing some wheat. Hooray! So we have, what do we got going on here house-wise? Do we have we were looking at all our houses? Not all our houses. There you go. See what I mean? You're starting to load this window up. So we've got a 14-year-old here, and once this boy is 10, he'll move in with her, and they'll start yet another family. So you can see now we've got a lot of families that are having kids. There's these 2. This guy's 60. He's not having any kids by himself. And then we've got this other couple here that are in their late 40s. And they won't be having any more kids either. So they're great workers for us. However, we do need more kids all the time. So let's put a couple of farmers on the job. I guess it's a little early for that, but whatever, it's all good. So now we wait. Now we wait. Really, building-wise, I could put another house in. If I had enough stone, I could put a well in over here just to make sure that we're not going to burn. These guys over near the river are fine because they'll just use the river water. We could get more stone and complete our tailor, which was the reason we built that bridge, was to get more of that stone and some of the iron. Got to keep an eye on our tools as well. So yeah, it's pretty much just waiting now for resources, more workers. So we're almost ready to form that next family. When that boy turns 10, from this house, he will move in with this girl. There you go, and it just happened. Boom. So then the next kids, we've got 2 6-year-olds. Convenient. 1 boy, 1 girl. So within about the next 4 years, we're going to need a little more in the way of housing for them. Sorry. Got confused mid-sentence. So right now we've got a couple houses that are cold. Because they don't have enough firewood, they're going to go in and grab a little bit of firewood as it's made available. Of course, the problem is we're taking all the firewood over to our trading post. What I could do is, for the time being, is I could knock this down so that we're not collecting any more for a minute until we've got enough firewood. Although it's now spring and we're making more. And here we go. Our 2 crop fields are cropping it up. So that's going to help increase our food stores right off the bat, which is great. Food has stopped being an issue for us at this point. Logs are still a problem for us, making sure we've got enough logs. There's a little bit more there. Another baby and another baby. Just doesn't stop now. So yeah, you could say that we've pretty much passed that danger curve now. We've got up to about 19 people, almost 20 people. So we're past the point where a hard game would have started. We've got more families than that at this point, more people. So we've kind of overcome the 2-person advantage. But it took 16 game years and about an hour and a half to get there. So you can see that the Adam and Eve mod is a challenging mod. It adds a level of difficulty to the game. It's a good mod. It just takes a while, and that's not the fault of the mod makers, who did a great job. I think it's an enjoyable mod. It adds a nice challenge to the game, and yeah, I look forward to playing it and trying it out. I could certainly keep playing this map for a while. You've probably grown to love all of the people here, so maybe we'll do another video where we continue on the town of Witchy, something like that. But I think it's time to say goodbye. So thanks very much for tuning in. It's been another Where Games video, and like I said before, we really do like feedback. So if you have any comments, questions, notes, likes, subscribes, all of that kind of stuff is lovely. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you later.